Buenos días chicos, espero que todos estén súper bien y bueno, tenemos un video muy especial hoy. No lo queríamos hacer en vivo y en directo porque sabemos que este video muchos de ustedes nos lo están pidiendo. Entonces hoy tenemos el gusto de estar con Emma. Emma hace parte de la Universidad de Essex, es la representante oficial para Latinoamérica y como bueno, sabemos que muchos de ustedes están en ese proceso de aplicación, de decisión, de a qué universidad me voy, cuándo me voy, cómo va a ser mi vida de estudiante. Vamos a estar hablando de todos esos temas y este video lo vamos a hacer en inglés para que todos ustedes vayan cogiendo ese acento, vayan entendiendo a qué los espera en el Reino Unido. Emma, thank you so much for being here. It's such a pleasure having you in our channel.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
I think, Emma, you know, we have so many students right now interested in the University of Essex, and when I was living in the UK, it was one of my favorite universities. I don't know what you guys have. Is the campus, is the location, the multicultural students. Tell us a little bit more why Essex is turning into such a great university for international students.
Well, I guess there's a few reasons. I mean, what I can tell you about is a couple of my favorite things about the University of Essex, and then why I think our Latin American students love us as a university. I do think our location is a big pull for students. We're located in the southeast of the UK, pretty close to London. So at Essex we do have 3 campuses, but the largest campus is in the city of Colchester, and so that's where most of our students study. So when I am speaking to prospective students, I would say 9 times out of 10 I'm talking about the Colchester campus. And yeah, you can be in London in less than an hour, which in my opinion is the perfect distance. So we're close to London if you want to get into the city, and public transport, by the way, in the UK generally speaking is amazing. It's very, very easy to get around. But yeah, you can be in London in less than an hour, and I guess the benefit of that is you get to take advantage of all the amazing things that London has to offer without paying the price tag of living in the city, because London is a very expensive city to live in. Campus itself is amazing. It's I would describe it, I guess, as like a traditional campus university where everything students could need is all in one place. So we guarantee housing for international students, and most of our students, especially from Latin America, will live on campus. And the advantage of that is that everything is on their doorstep. So yeah, it kind of has like a mini city feel. It's got amazing sports facilities, loads of hospitality outlets, so cafes, bars, restaurants, and obviously amazing academic facilities all on your doorstep as well.
Amazing. And I think what you were mentioning here, because when you guys, if you don't know, if you're planning to study in the UK, you need to show the UK government that you have a certain amount of money in your bank account as well to go. And Essex has this, well, especially Colchester being a beautiful place to live, not that expensive. It's actually what you can do with a part-time job. You can cover your living expenses. It's a beautiful city. People in Essex are really friendly as well. And on top of that, what Emma was saying is you get London at your doorstep. It's like London is 1 hour away. If you want to go for the weekend, if you have to go for an interview when you're about to graduate, if you are not that far away in the middle of nowhere, it's a very interesting location to study as well for students. No, it's like, I mean, I've got the beautiful countryside. I'm not that far from London. I've got beautiful sceneries and cities to visit in the weekend. And there are so many things to do in Essex as well. Like, I'm a big fan of hiking, and I love hiking around. It's one of the best things to do in the UK.
Yeah, that's so true. So we're surrounded by beautiful Essex countryside. We're not too far from the coast as well. So there's I think it's a 350-mile coastline around us. And I should say, you know, we're not known for our glorious sunshine or weather in the UK, but what I will say is down in the southeast we do have some of the UK's best weather. So particularly in the spring and the summer months, as we're starting to see the temperatures warm up, the beach is even not too far from the campus as well. And actually one of our campuses, the South End campus, which is much smaller, it has more of an urban feel about it, that is right on the Essex coastline. So yeah, you're about 20, if you're studying in Colchester, you're less than an hour from London, about 20 minutes from the coast, from the sea, surrounded by beautiful countryside. And then yeah, Colchester itself, which is a really interesting city. It was actually the very first recorded city in Britain. So it's got some amazing, it's got some amazing Roman architecture around the city. It's got a beautiful castle. One of my favorite spots is Castle Park. So it's some green land or green space with a really lovely castle right in the middle. And then obviously it has everything that you would expect a modern city to have. So retail, bars, there's music venues, art galleries, cinemas, theatres. So yeah, it has a lot to offer, I would say.
You know, Emma, it's funny because when we talk to students who are about to graduate and they're finishing their degrees, we tell them, what did you like the most about your experience about your program? And one of the things they always mention is so many things to do in Colchester and around. And this is one of the factors when students are deciding that, oh, well, I'm not going to be in London. Am I going to get bored? Are there enough job opportunities? We're going to get into job opportunities in a bit, but I think Colchester and Essex in general has so many things to offer that students can rest assured that they're going to have a good time in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be mindful when I'm talking about Colchester as a city, that especially if I'm speaking to students from Latin America and they're from cities like Mexico City or Bogota, then obviously describing Colchester as a city, I have to warn them that it's much smaller than the cities that they might be used to living in. But yeah, it is a city, and just generally speaking, in the UK, because we're such a small country, everything is very accessible. So yeah, you could have students that are studying in Colchester and then they want to go to Brighton for a weekend or Cambridge for the weekend, and everything is just very accessible by public transport.
And Colchester as well is very well connected. It's not like you're in the middle of nowhere that you don't have train lines or anything. Wherever you want to go, you can just jump in a train. We have so many students going for interviews in London, Cambridge. They're like, oh, we didn't think it was that convenient. We thought it was going to be like a hassle, and no, actually it's quite nicely located. And now that we are talking about location, I think of course, we're going to talk about rankings in a bit and opportunities for students and graduates at Essex. But one of the things that is calling our attention massively, and that's why we have so many students applying to Essex University, is you guys are doing really well in rankings recently. You guys keep improving, you keep winning awards. You guys are doing something really good, and this is being noticed in Latin America, and that's one of the reasons why students are so interested. So how are you guys doing with the rankings? Tell us a little bit more about it, because students in Latin America, we are very cautious, like, oh, is this university going to give me what I really need to succeed in my career, and besides the ranking. But how is your take on that? What do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like rankings always come up. It's a really good question, and I mean, Essex, we're a top 30 UK university, ranked by the Guardian University Guide in 2024. So yeah, we're in the top 30 UK universities. I would say that Essex is a university very well known for our social sciences. We're often ranked very highly for subjects like politics, international relations, sociology, criminology, economics, linguistics as well. So yeah, these are often subjects that are consistently well ranked for, and we are a top 10 university for those subject areas. Also law. Essex has a global reputation for our human rights law especially, but we're a top 50 university in the Times Higher Education World University Rankings. So when I get asked about rankings, I tend to encourage students to really focus on subject specific rankings, but also to really look at, I think there are some other rankings and things that students should take into consideration when choosing a university, such as how international a university is, and also what current students are saying about studying at that university. So looking at like national student surveys and what current students are saying about studying at that university. But if you were to ask me what my favorite thing about Essex is, it would probably be how international the university is. So we're ranked 15th in the Times Higher Education World University Rankings for our outlook. It's
Wow.
not just our students that are from all over the world, it's our staff too, so academic staff want to come and teach and carry out research at Essex, and it's also reflected in our curriculum. So we have a really global curriculum. But yeah, I think that the fact that Essex is a very, very international university and over 40% of our students are from outside of the UK is something that makes Essex a special place to learn.
A special place, you know, it's exactly what we got from one of our students, Valentina. She did a course she did her master's in translation, and she was like, I was mind blown as soon as I joined the class, and I was like, wow, there are people from everywhere here, and the tutors and the support she got, and it's one of the things that she enjoyed the most of this experience, and at the end is what employees are looking for right now. Is if you're coming from a university with a very good reputation, it's very international, very multicultural, when you go to interviews, they know that you are the type of candidate they might be looking for. It's completely different when you go to other countries, and yes, there are students from different places, but I think Essex has it all in terms of nationality mix, and good job to you guys, because when I was an international student myself, I was like so excited to meet people from all over the world. And my networking started, and right now I've been graduated more than 10 years ago, but I've got friends all over the world. And it's thanks to these opportunities that the university actually give you, know?
I always say that to students, actually. I say that coming to a university like Essex, students will have their own perspectives and backgrounds and experiences having grown up, presumably most of their life in whatever country in Latin America, and you bring that to a classroom at Essex, and before your professor or academics have even taught you anything, just that classroom experience, being surrounded by people from all over the world, is such a valuable learning experience and networking experience, or opportunity as well.
Yeah, I think, Nick, that you're touching another point that our students are always kind of keen in finding out, and at the job opportunities, what does the university do to connect them with the recruiters, with the opportunities abroad? And you guys at Essex, you have a pretty strong career department as well. And yeah, let's go with this one, and I tell you a little bit about the entrepreneurship program, because we have few students super interested in that.
Okay, cool. Well, actually, one of the things I was going to say, because you mentioned this already, was the opportunity to work part-time. So as international students, the visa permits them to work part-time whilst they're studying, so up to 20 hours a week. And actually Essex is a really good employer and really encourages our students to get part-time work whilst they're studying, because not only is it a good way to earn money whilst you're carrying out your studies, it's obviously a good way to learn new skills, improve English, again start that networking process, and yeah, Essex is a really good employer. So there are lots of opportunities for students to get work on campus if students want to, but if they want to work off campus, then they can do that as well. So there's no restriction in terms of where students work. But yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to mention that one. But in terms of employability and how the university supports students, yes, we have a dedicated careers team. So they will support students with finding work, preparing for job interviews, putting together CVs. There's all sorts of workshops as well that they run throughout the academic year that students can, take advantage of. And then in terms of getting work, there's often opportunities to get internships or to complete an internship. And some of our masters have the opportunity to add a professional placement year as well. So yeah, there's an awful lot of support, and we have I think it's 89 or 90% of our graduates are either in employment within 6 months of graduating or have gone on to further studies. So we have a really good employability ranking.
Yeah, it's something, and this is what one of our students was mentioning, was like, I was doing my master, but I felt fully supported. Like it's normal, guys, to be scared when you're looking for a job. Even if you graduated from university in Latin America, you go into London, you go into the UK, and it's normal to be scared to take an interview, to go for it's different, And what our student was mentioning is that she got the full training support. Like, look, this is more or less what you're gonna face. This is how it's gonna go. Let's try, let's practice. And she was mentioning that at the library, she found like a group of people that were actually coaching her and guiding her before she started going for the interview process. And I'm like, that makes a big difference, because you need that support when you're looking for a job abroad.
Yeah, and I think something that Essex does really well is really encourage our students to get involved in everything that's going on outside of the classroom, whether that's taking advantage of additional workshops or getting a part-time job or joining societies, because all these things help improve employability, build your networks. And something that I really encourage students to do is to get to know their academics well as well. Ask them questions, find out about their networks, try and take advantage of their expertise and knowledge, and as much as you can whilst you're studying, because I think they're the students that really get the most out of the learning experience. And it definitely sounds like that's exactly what Valentina did.
Exactly. And something you mentioned here very nically, Emma, is go with those academics, get close to them, ask them questions. But one of the things that we like from Essex as well is that academics, majority of them actually have related industry experience, right? It's like that makes a big difference. We were looking at the data science program, I think it was, and one of the innovation and entrepreneurship. And when we were going through, because with all our students, we sit down and we understand the course they want to study, we understand who they are, to advise them and tell, look, maybe this is the right university for you. And we were checking, and he was like, oh, you guys even have like a mini Shark Tank and competitions for innovation. And the academics have actually been in the industry and quite well-renowned people in the industry as well, which if I'm an international student doing a master, if I find this type of professors, I'm gonna get really excited because they have already done it, no?
Yeah, exactly. And at Essex, our academics and departments very much operate an open door policy. Every single student, whether you're an undergraduate student or you're a master's student, you'll be assigned your own personal tutor. So that's someone that can provide academic support, but they're also, they're there for students to knock on the door, to ask them questions, whether it's about an assignment or about what they've achieved and accomplished, or they're researching. And our opportunities, something that you mentioned there about innovation. So we have an innovation centre as well, and for students who have an entrepreneurial spirit and want to potentially set up their own business, we have a scheme called Essex Startups, where students can put forward their business plan and basically receive funding. Like, it's free money, it's not money they have to pay back, to help build their business, put together business plans. So there's amazing opportunities for students that get involved. Absolutely.
And I think that program is one of the best. We're going to leave you guys the link to these programs behind in the description of this video. If you guys want to check the pensum, the curriculum, and you want to understand a little bit more how these programs work, you can drop us an email. We're going to leave Emma's contact details here as well in the description of the video, because we want you guys to take the best decision. And when I was in that myself, this decision is really hard, because you end up yourself with 4 or 5 university offers and you don't know which one is the right for you. So we encourage you, all of you guys applying with us or without us, do this research before. What Emma said before, go for the specific ranking. Sometimes we realize like, oh, this university might not be in the top 10, but when you look at the program you really want to study, you realize that it's actually the best university in the country. So go for those specific rankings, subject rankings. Do you all comparison, like which ranking are you interested in? Why? Understand that rankings are all different and they can vary massively between one to another one. But yeah, I think this experience as an international student can be a little bit scary. But once you understand where you're going, everything becomes a lot easier. And at the University of Essex, guys, you can get the support you actually need as an international student. I was in 3 universities in the UK. I'm not going to name them, but in 2 of them, I felt completely left alone. I was like, well, I'm here, but what's the story with my case? I came to another university where they said, look, you are here. We're going to support you. We're going to guide you. Let's get on top with your CV. Let's improve your LinkedIn profile. This is going to get you up and running in a job market a lot quicker. And this is what you need when you're an international student going to study abroad. Emma, I think we're going to get a lot of questions after we put this video up and running. We're going to leave your details here. We're going to leave the details to the programs we have been spoken. What would you tell students thinking about going to the UK and specifically to Essex to do the masters or their undergraduates? What would be that one tip that you wish you could give to everyone?
I actually think you nailed it on the head when you said take your time and do your research, as well as rankings. Really research the course curriculum as well, because you might have two universities that have exactly the same course title, but the content of the program could be completely different. So look at the content of the course, and if it matches what you're passionate about and you're interested in. And the only other thing I would say is don't take my word for it. Of course, I would say that Essex is a great option. I do genuinely believe that. I think the campus is beautiful. I think the location is amazing. I love how international Essex is. But don't take my word for it. Speak to current students. That's the other piece of advice I suggest. And also, if you wanted to speak to an academic, I can put you in contact. They would love to hear from you, and they would be the best people to speak to you about maybe course specific questions. But speak to a current student who's from your part of the world and ask them about their experience, and I can help put you in contact. That's no issue.
Exactly. That's super valuable, Emma. Thank you so much for that advice, because when you are about to take this decision, if you meet someone from your country, your region, you can speak your own language and go through all those little questions. We try to be very unbiased with our students. We try to advise them, look, it is not the university we are trying to tell you, oh, you should go to this one. Do your own research, because this is a very important lifetime decision. I see it in that way. And if you go to the wrong university, you might end up hating your career, what you want to study. Everything is going to get messy and complicated. But when you go to the right university, when they have, as Emma said, the right course, the course you are looking for, everything becomes a lot easier. Emma, thank you so much for your time. And it's lovely having you here. We're going to be emailing you and texting you a lot throughout the rest of the year, because we have so many students with so many questions. And yeah, thank you so much for being here, and we speak to you in another occasion.
Thank you so much for having me. Speak to you soon. Bye.